Hello, my name is Agatha, and this is the astrological predictions for June 2016. This is a very general forecast. If you'd like a private reading, please send an email to duniazad@gmail.com. Be delighted to work with you. All the information is below. Below, you can also find the link to my newsletter. If you sign up my newsletter and subscribe my YouTube channel, you could win a free tarot reading written by me. And there is always a winner, one winner every month. So who knows, you could be that winner. So Libra, let's see the forecast for you for June 2016. The new moon happens on the 5th of June at 14 degrees of Gemini, and the full moon happens on the 20th of June at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. And what does this mean for you, Libra? In your case, this new moon is going to happen in your ninth house. And this lunation is going to be near Venus in Gemini. And it's going to have bad aspects all around, I'm sorry. And I would say that June might be a very difficult month for everyone. So it's going to oppose Saturn in Sagittarius in the 3rd house. Is going to square Neptune in Pisces in the 6th house, and it's going to square Jupiter and the North Node in Virgo in the 12th house, and it's going to make a 150-degree aspect to Pluto in Capricorn in the 4th house, which is called an inconjunction, which is an aspect of difficult harmony, and where one side needs to sacrifice the other side. It's impossible to have what you want. You need to sacrifice something. So you can have a little bit of this, but not completely, not total, not fully. This full moon happens on the 9th house, so maybe some of you will be accepted into university, and you get to be on the course. I think it's course. You say that you always wanted to be in. Let's say, but it's something to do with facts, numbers, data. It could be statistics. It could be mathematics. It could be accounting. It could be a science, pure science, something where math and numbers and calculations are really important, and it's the basis of the whole course. Let's say it's math, okay, and you are obsessed with it and you love it, it's a real love, and finally you study hard and you get to be on the course, I don't say, how do you say? In Portuguese we call it curso superior. The course you always wanted to be in, and it's really heavy on calculations. But so you spend all day long just doing math problems and whatever, and you're so obsessed that this might take a toll on your health. Why? Because it squares Neptune on the 6th house, so you forget to eat. You forget to go outside and have some sort of exercise. You forget to relax, because you're working all the freaking time, because you're studying all the time and you love this. Or you are stressed, because even though this is a course you really like, it's really hard, it's really difficult, and it takes hard work. So you're working all the time and you're very stressed. Because you're afraid you are unable to meet the demands of this very difficult course. Another way of reading it, it might have nothing to do with entering university. It might be, for instance, that you go on a vacation, but everything goes wrong, and there's delays all around, and maybe you don't have the right documents. Maybe you forgot the passport, or not necessarily, or maybe they're like checking the documents every single time, like 10 times, multiple times, or they checking your luggage 10 times or more, or there might be a scare of terrorism, not necessarily that happens, okay? But only the thought of it makes the authorities so freaked out that they stop everyone, and this nice, quiet, relaxing vacation is just full of stress. It's not relaxing at all. Just getting to the place fills you with anxiety, and there's delays and emotional and mental stress. So it could be that. If you could possibly delay this to another time, that would be good, because this, if you have to fly, to this place, not necessarily fly, you could also, take the bus or the train, something like that, but it could be air, because this makes so bad aspects. Again, it depends from chart to chart. If you could possibly pick another month, because these aspects are so bad. I'm sorry to tell you this. I really am. I hope everything is cool with you, everything turns out fine. If you could delay it. But again, if you go, it might be like it's a trip that, instead of being pleasurable, just fills you with stress. And it might be because the authorities are checking everything 10 times, even though they just checked it, they have to recheck it. What else? The ninth house is also called the house of God and the house of organized religion. In this case, I don't see you going to the church or the temple, or going to a certain type of religion, because Gemini is a very mental sign and it demands facts, and it's very curious also, but it stresses facts, okay? And religion demands that you believe without facts. You just have to believe. I don't think Gemini, you're a Libra, but this new moon is in Gemini, and just the fact of being asked to believe without engaging your rational mind in that belief, I don't think you'd be able to do that, Libra. I really don't think you'd be able to do that, because Libra is also a very mental sign, a very logical and rational sign. So I don't see that as you going into a new religion or going deep into your own religion, because this religion needed to be fact-based, and there's no religion fact-based. It's impossible. They don't exist, okay? You just have to believe. You have to believe in this fact that, I'm going to give an example, please don't be mad at me, I'm Catholic, that the Virgin Mary was a virgin. Maybe to someone who has a very analytical mind, no, they will never accept this, but it's part of our Catholic dogma, okay? You just accept it. You don't question it. I'm just giving this as an example. No one, okay? Don't be offended, okay? I would say this would be more like a beginning in terms of your morals, your ethics, your principles. I'm going to give another example. Imagine that you've been for a while, Libra, watching documentaries about the treatment of animals and how they are treated and how does the food comes to our tables, and you think this is wrong, I can no longer be a part of this goes against my personal ethics, this goes against my principles, I do not like the animals being treated like this, so I'm gonna go completely vegan. So you decide no meat, no fish, no eggs, no dairy, no cheese, oh my god, and you just decide on a new path, like ethically, in a new ethical path, to fully embrace new values, new principles. However, if you decide to have a certain type of diet, which is fueled by your values and your morals, however, this diet might cause you some sort of health issues. So you might have these principles, but if you follow them, because Neptune is transiting your 6th house and it's making a square to this new moon, it might really cause a negative impact on your health. So you might be taking out the foods that you're taking out from your diet, maybe one or other might be needed to you. And you know, this is another way of reading it. Let's see if I have more ways of reading it. Or, for instance, because this new moon makes an opposition to Saturn in Sagittarius in the 3rd house, maybe you are only viewing facts that make sense to you, that confirm the opinion, opinion that you already have, and just dismiss the facts that go against the opinion you have already formed. That could be another issue. So you need to be really aware of that. Okay, because maybe you're not looking at all the facts. Maybe some facts you don't like them and just dismiss them because you don't like them. Another way of reading it is maybe the 9th house is also connected with law and justice So maybe there's a court case. Maybe let's say that you are divorced, or some of you, not all of you, are about to be divorced, Libra, and finally the papers for the divorce are filed around the 5th of June. It could be that. But whatever it's asked on these papers, there might be a conflict with the home environment. For instance, you might be asking for the house, to be able to keep the house, and your spouse doesn't not to keep the house. But if you want to do that, you have to give up something. Or if you want to have fully what you consider your rights, you might be forced to give up the house and the properties that you have. There's some sort of sacrifice here surrounding the environment of the properties or the house where you both live or lived. If it's not that, let's say if it's moral issues that has nothing to do with a divorce, with a court case, let's say it's moral issues, your own personal ethic. I gave the example of vegan, but it could be anything else. Okay, you are developing a new personal ethic. However, this new personal ethic and these principles clash somehow with your home environment, with someone there, even with a family member. This family member might be very controlling of the assets, of the house, of the properties, even of the money. So, if you want to fully follow your principles and your morals, you need to sacrifice something around family or home environment. I'm going to give another extreme example. Very extreme, Libra. I'm not saying this applies to you. Imagine that you are, like you come from a mobster family. I'm not saying you are, okay? This is very extreme, just to make a point, okay? Like a mobster family. And this goes against everything you believe in. You're not a mobster, okay? So for you to follow completely what you believe in, you have to give up your family, your environment. Another way of reading it. Let's say nothing to do with mobsters. This is your environment is a very controlling environment, or it's been for the last few years. And maybe let's say this is not just controlling the assets and the money, but also the values. So someone in your family might impose his or her very conservative values, whatever shape it takes. Can be those conservative values might come from religion, but not necessarily, and this clashes with your natural curiosity. So in order for you to keep your curiosity, You have to sacrifice something around family environment, home, something. I don't know what. I think I've mentioned everything. Okay, and then the full moon, the 20th of June, 29 degrees of Sagittarius, Libra, happens in your third house in a trine with Uranus, and your seventh house at 20 degrees of Aries. So you might get like a very surprising message from your spouse, from your future ex-spouse, from your ex-spouse. It's something which is really surprising. I don't know if it's positive or negative. It's just surprising, really surprising. It could be like he or she drops, if there's not a lawsuit, he or she filed papers to do with anything with upping the alimony or get more, or try to have a more equal, from his or her perspective, equal share of the assets. Because I think if there is a division, if there is a divorce for some of you, you are really you want to strongly keep the house. You want to be the one who controls the house, and you want to keep all the money. It's what I see in the chart. Again, this is general, okay? But there's a surprising message from the spouse. If there is a divorce or a divorce ongoing, this surprising message might be, okay, I will not ask for alimony if you leave me the house, or I'll give you the house if you give this and this to me. It's a surprising sort of message that might require you to sacrifice some of your money to your spouse or future ex-spouse or partner. If it's not wife and husband, it could be like business business partnership, something like that. If nothing to do with, it could be also another way. Everything is okay with your spouse, everything is fine, you love each other, and everything is great. The surprising message that you might get from your wife or husband is that I got a bonus. We can finally buy the car that we wanted. Maybe you were like trying to buy a car, and around the 20th of June, finally you can get the car that you wanted. And maybe because your wife or husband, your spouse, got that bonus, and there's not even that. It could be like the scratchy lottery or something. Just got like I got $2,000 or $10,000 or euros or whatever. You can buy the car that we wanted. Or the surprising message would be our car is dead, and the mechanic said there is no possibility of reviving this car ever. And the surprising message might be that you both realize that we can't use the car, we have to use public transportation for a while, not forever, okay? What else? Oh, you might be finishing up, because this is a full moon, therefore a culmination, a study of some kind. Could be like a language course, for instance. Let's say you're learning German in your or Spanish or whatever language, and you're finishing up around the 20th of June. Doesn't have to be languages, could be anything else, okay? So there's many different ways, or a trip which is finalized, but not abroad, like a trip more around the neighborhood. It could be something simple as you go to see your family and spend 2-3 days there and then come back, but all more or less like not abroad, just in the same country, in the same region. Could be the family of your spouse or your partner. And that's it. That's the reading that I have for you, Libra, for June 2016. I hope you have a great month. If you like a private consultation, please send an email to dunyazad@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Bye-bye.